Very good.
All right, welcome everyone to Sober Sunday. We apologize for coming on late. Technical issues that we've been trying to sort out, but we are grateful that we are here. Welcome everyone. We're going to jump right into it. Sober Sunday is about sober conversations with me, Simon Bevy from Transform Nations. We get to do this every Sunday and have conversations on different topics that affect us as men and women, boys and girls. And we are so grateful that all of you have joined us. Some of you have been very regular here, so you know what we do. In case this is your first time, you're most welcome. We usually start this at 8:15, so we are late, but we are grateful that you've joined us. And we're going to add 10 minutes to it so that we can be able to cover some of the things we wanted to cover. Again, our apologies, but every Sunday, 8:15 to 9:15, we get to have these conversations. Transform Nations will run different programs. And as we continue, someone is going to be typing out some of the programs we get to do, and you can feel free to get to know more about that. As usual, I have my guests, the experienced, as we say today. Today, I'm excited about the topic that we are tackling. We started last week talking about raising teenagers or parenting teenagers. And last week, we looked at the parent and what they need to be and do. And today, we focus on the teenager, herself or himself. And we just want to help the parents understand, the caregivers, what's going on with this young man or young woman, so that we stop saying what's wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. It's just the reality of what's going on as they grow and develop. So I'm excited to have Shalom Muniri. She's an expert in these issues. She's even written a book on it. She has raised teenagers who have now gone beyond that. I think some are still teenagers. And so she's learned in the act, and we just want to welcome you, Shalom. If you could say a few more things about yourself, then we'll come to the other guest.
Thank you very much, Pastor Simon. Good evening, everybody. As you heard, my name is Shalom Muniri. I'm somebody who's really, really passionate about family and young people and connecting generations with each other. So as he says, I have learned from the trenches. I've been there, raised teens and young adults. It's been an adventure, or, I'd say similar to whitewater rafting for those who have tried that hard adventure, but it turns out well in the end. So I'm glad to be part of this conversation. And no, I'm not an expert. I'm only an expert on my own. The rest of it will share and learn from each other. So looking forward to the conversations.
Yeah, so the word I would use there, you are the experienced. You have been there, you've tried certain things, you've talked with the parents of many teenagers. So here are the experienced. YHub Network, this is Pastor Iwagata. He has been together with us. He talks a lot to teenagers and young adults as part of his work, but he's raising a son himself as a parent. So welcome, Pastor Iwagata.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. My name is Pastor David Iwagata. Passionate about speaking to young people, leading them to Christ, because I believe that is the answer to many of the questions that we ask. In as much as, yes, we have a part to play, I think Christ really answers many of the questions that we would have. And so serve as youth pastor at Papa Center Church or Rock Ministries, and also lead YHub Networks, a youth ministry and resource center. Yeah, that's me.
Excellent. So welcome. Shalom, maybe you can start us on. So we are looking at the young person. This person who is not yet an adult, is not a child, is in between there, in between those teen years, from around 11 all the way to 18, 19. What's going on? And we could maybe start with the hormonal, what's going on with this young man or young woman. Today, we're going to be looking at the sexual, physical, spiritual, psychological, emotional development, what's going on. So feel free to touch on any of those, but we just want to understand what's going on.
Wow. I think what's going on is what has always gone on. They're changing and they're developing. So when it comes to hormonally, a lot of it is the same old that has been going on, where hormones change, they develop, they rage, and all that. That is a biological function that really has been there from the beginning. However, I think the biggest challenge has come from what's going on around them and outside of them. Because the physical, we've always changed, we've always developed the same. We also grew up within the same parameters. Although I guess with genetically modified food, they're also growing up and old a lot faster. So physically, probably there's something that's showing different. They look a lot more mature. And another big thing that I think has happened, and this is on the social aspect, we as their parents and the grown-ups around them have sort of hastened their growing up. We have rushed it. So you find we start dressing up and exposing children from when they're very young to very grown-up things. And I don't even mean grown-up in terms of the negative side of things. I mean the competitions that young children are taking part in. They're winning. They no longer play for fun. They play to win from very early ages. And so there's a lot of grown-up stuff happening in their life from when they're young. And therefore, they're hurrying up. They're hurrying up into adulthood before they're ready. And unfortunately, if they hurry up and get there before they're ready, we as their parents will not even be ready when they get there. So there's a lot going on around them in terms of the exposure they're getting, both positive and negative. And so also the fact that they're living a very public life means that we get to see this process from the front row seats. There's not as much privacy as there used to be.
I like what you're saying about the public life, but a lot of this we get to see. I mean, we get to see their phones and get to realize what it is that they're watching, who they are talking to. They're a lot more connected than we were. I mean, as you said last week, we connected with people within the village or within the school or within the estate. But now they're connected to people from all over the world. So just the exposure. And talking about the hormones, we've always said, but I think sometimes we forget that these hormonal changes create some confusion, some mood swings and stuff like that. And sometimes we just think it's the child who is having an attitude and they're pretending. But it's important for us to realize that there's actually a hormonal effect, right?
Yes. Many times, and I think probably this is more, I don't even know how to balance it. I think it happens both ways with guys and girls. You find that when the hormones are growing, raging, again, depending on diet and things, you see the thyroid and other glands that are responsible, plus the reproductive system that's responsible for producing these hormones. If it is not being well taken care of, or if it is affected, back again to, you were saying that we'll even talk about their mental development. If it's affected by certain psychological aspects that are happening within their life, then those hormones will not function as they ought to function. And therefore, there'll be something biologically wrong with the child. But because the world tells us that teenagers are difficult, that's the bitter side of bringing them up, then we may assume that it is them being mannerless. And therefore, it might be a thing that will require just checking their thyroid development, hypothyroidism, just trying to check, is that working okay? To see their moods. Are they resting enough? Because sometimes there could be habits that they have formed, either eating, sleeping, and such things that are causing a problem, which ends up looking like it's something that cannot be dealt with. But it can be settled by things like rest, change in diets, adding exercise, just to then balance that dopamine versus all these other hormones that are coming and loading up. So I think rather than just attack the teenager directly, is to understand where they're coming from and is what they're doing a social or biological or psychological issue. And then that way you would be able to deal with it better.
Okay. Excellent. We're going to get back to you. But Pastor Iwagada, today I was walking in town and I found almost every street, I found young people just standing in corners, taking pictures, doing some videos and TikToks. And of course, they are sending those things to other people, trying to smile, try to take a certain pose. And so the image issue is a big one in our day. How do we help our children deal? I mean, our day it was there, our hair with our head is too big or ears too small or something like that. But now it's so public. You film yourself, you throw it out on social media, everybody makes a comment, says they don't like your nose, this and the other. How do we help them, deal with these image issues?
They say thank you. This is the YOLO generation. You only live online.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what you do. That is where they get their identity from. That is where they build relationships. In fact, many of us are trying to figure out how to make them have physical relationships, and they are very okay with virtual relationships. And that's very confusing for the parents, because they don't understand how it's the same way how you tell your grandfather, I've sent a mail to somebody, and they're like, I've not seen you leave the gate, take it to the post office and drop it in a box, and the transport process begins. So they're like, you just sat on a computer, on a machine, and you sent an email. That is how we perceive them and their online space. They talk about what Shalom was talking about is early exposure. We expose them early to many things. We expose them to the dramatics of adult life, because unlike many of us, our parents shielded us from the realities of life. Right now, because we live in a global village, they are not shielded. Even if you try to keep them in the house, all they need is the internet. They will know what this, that, the other is, way before you know anything about it. As one parent sat his son down and he told him, I want to talk to you. And the son sat down and said, okay, what do you want to talk to me about? The father said, I want to talk to you about sex. And the son asked him, so what do you want to know? So education came the other way, He thought he was going to teach his son about to kind of think maybe the dad is getting lost somewhere in this thing, and he's trying to figure out something, because he feels he's exposed enough, or the son is exposed enough to feel he's competent enough to advise the father about matters sexual. It's a big thing. The culture around them is get to know, get to experience, get to do, get to be, to succeed early. And so a lot of the things happening with these young people put them in a place where they get to feel and experience a lot of things way early, before they build the capacity to actually handle the basics of a teenager's life. They're already dealing with adults. They're dealing with adult issues. So and unfortunately we can't stall it, because it's not us only in their space. In fact, their conversations, their learning, even the teachers are behind the students. For the first time in life, the teachers, you're trying to tell them about the planets, and they already know, including the ones that have been discovered that have not been put in your textbook, the one you're holding, because they were discovered last year. Your textbook is 4 years old. It's obsolete before you read the chapter for them. And so when it comes to their image, again, so it's now shaped not by a local perception of beauty or handsomeness or style. It's shaped by a global perception. It's measured by a global standard. And then the responses are how do I put this? They're shielded by the safety of the screen. So unlike where you would say don't bully, they're not shielded on the online space. Unfortunately, the Internet of Things has not given room for us to be able to put filters, to install something, no laws to mitigate abuse on the online space. And so they are living, it's almost like they are in the streets, living by themselves, but they sleep in your house, they eat in your house, you pay their school fees, but they are actually street kids when it comes to the virtual world. Everyone has a get to them.
Yeah. Well, so there needs to be a lot of confidence building, self-esteem, ensuring that they feel good about themselves, and ensuring they can hold themselves against all the attacks that are coming. Talking about the boys maybe specifically, and Shalom will talk about the girls. When it comes to this image, I want to be like that footballer, I want to look like that. How can you help them just be content with who they are?
Well, how can we help the young boys be content? I think the answer lies in the parenting. The assurance that they are loved from home. I don't think parents understand just how valuable their relationship with their children and their spouse is. Unfortunately, many times, normally remove the spouse from this conversation and we just say, oh, father, love your son, father, love your daughter. The first biggest appreciation of a child is the relationship between the father and the mother. We can say all we want to say, we can fight it, we can say, oh, nowadays things have changed, there are single parent homes and all that. But I've seen 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds say, I want to see my father. If he's dead, show me the grave. If he went mad, take me to Madare, let me see him. I want to see my father because there's something that is locked in me until I meet this man, or I want to meet my mother. It doesn't matter how many divorces ago you went through, you got through with her. And so I like to tell young people, I like to tell parents, the best gift a father can give to his children is to love their mother. And the best gift a mother can give to her children is to love their father. Then out of that unified relationship, you begin to now, because it's literally a trickle-down effect. It trickles down to the children that, this is the confidence that I have, that my parents are together. Relationship is valuable. People can love and be loved, and it's genuine. And the sense of that bleeds into them confidence. So when he goes to the internet, he knows, I have a home, I have parents, I am loved, I'm cared for. And that fortifies them before you even start talking of, oh, let me tell you what it means to be a man, let me tell you what it means to be a woman. That fortifies them. And I think that for me is foundational for us.
Excellent, excellent. And I know there are those, as you said, the single parents are saying, now, what do I do in that situation? And just to say, I mean, I was raised up in a single parent home after my father died pretty early. But my teacher and other male adults who got in and affirmed me and celebrated me and saw what I was and I was becoming, that gave me confidence in spite of everyone in school bullying me, telling me I'm too short, this and the other. Why did I leave my mother? I think the fact that I knew two teachers really loved me and had they believed in me, that really gave me confidence to continue to be to do very well in high school. But just that love from adults, male and female adults, mother and father, or father alternative, or someone else who would be like a mentor in that area really helps. But Shalom, maybe tell us a bit about the girls and what they're going through a little specifically, especially about image and concerns and what the mothers and fathers who are here would do in such cases, because image is big in this world today.
Yeah, I mean, image is a big thing. And a lot of what Ewagata has said applies to the girls too, in terms of the parents modeling what the ideal relationship, and who the girl should be is modeled from the home. But probably to add a little bit more is to bring some aspects of what's happening in the world right now. This is a generation where we are getting to fight. And this one I'm speaking on behalf of the female, the girl child. We're getting to a place where we need to fight patriarchy, and we are able to fight a patriarchal society as much as possible. So one of the challenges girls are having with image is breaking out of the stereotype of this is who a girl is supposed to be. So I think for parents and the people working with teenage girls, for instance, one of the things to do is start by understanding that the definition of the right image has changed. Just the other day, I was working with a child who noticed that I have very few pink items. And then she says, how come there are less of the pink? Then I said, oh, there must be some girls who took these pieces away, like during a session. Then she says, who tells you that girls are the only ones who like pink? And so in between 0 to 30 seconds, we had already moved from handling toys to a sexual conversation, sexual rights and everything else. So we need to understand that the definition of the right image has changed, so that you get where your girls are coming from. Then, as I said, avoid stereotypes, even as you're guiding them to articulate who they are. So when you're talking about identity, avoid stereotypes where you're telling the girl she needs to be like this, right? It's to help her understand where she's coming from. Then start from the inside. A lot of the image issues come when we don't feel right on the inside. So when a girl feels affirmed, accepted, and esteemed, and this is starting from home and the people in her immediate surrounding, then it becomes easier for her to have that confident image out there. So start from the inside, start from what the girl thinks and feels about herself. Then break those myths. So for instance, tomboy is not equal to lesbian. All right. So just because your daughter chooses to dress a certain way does not make her something else sexually. Yeah. So the minute we come learning and accepting myths that are really not true, we also get to push our daughters to making decisions that they really ought not to be making. So what is it called? Careers, dressing, sexuality, those areas have a lot of myths, especially for girls, that are ending up getting them a lot more confused instead of understanding what's going on. Yeah. So don't box them into a certain career. Do not box them into a particular way of dressing. Better to sell modesty than sell a skirt, so that then they're understanding, why do I need to dress how I dress? Then you teach them how to sort of like accept certain cultures and therefore respect other people's practices and traditions. So again, it's not all about themselves. So it's trying to get them to the point where it's not just about themselves, but able to articulate who they are without disrespecting themselves and the other person. Yeah. However, one of the things that has helped me, let me go to the point of personal experience raising a teenage girl. I wasn't exactly effeminate in many ways, right? Not interested in dresses and skirts, not interested in makeup, interested in doing my hair a certain way, therefore coming out very boyish. My careers were also, in the construction industry. I'm very comfortable in Mjengo than I am in a kitchen, that kind of thing. And then I get this daughter who's very girly. And so I almost felt like I wasn't the right mom for her when it comes to the traditional definition of female. And as we say, traditions are what? Peer pressure from dead people, right? So what I did was provide mentors for her. So my friends who love wearing makeup became part of my village. So that when my daughter wants to wear makeup, then I'm not feeling as though I feel I have to be under pressure to be that role model. So I surrounded myself with people who can be who my daughter wants to be, right? So again, don't do this alone. Provide mentors and role models who are going to help you walk the journey, because we cannot do this. I keep saying this, we cannot do this alone. And that's what I feel has happened to the girls as we are even getting girls to fit into this current society where submission is taken to be a wrong thing, where they have to be busting and fighting and rebelling against things. To guide them well, we have to understand where they're coming from. We need to understand where they're at, and then we equip them and give them the people around them who are going to help them walk that journey.
Yeah. I like that. And part of understanding them, Shalom, is making sure we are there for them. We're listening, even when it's irritating in the mood or way they talk to us, that we actually show that we have enduring love towards them and we want the best for them. Then they'll listen, right? Well, thank you for all of you who have tuned in. Before we come to you, David, Faith Kwamboka, we are glad for you to join, but Faith is asking, and Shalom, you could think about it. What diet reduces sexual urges in teen boys?
What diet, sorry?
Reduces sexual urges in teen boys. In fact, how do you lower these, what's going on in terms of testosterone and the way they're looking at girls and all of that? Is there some food that is going to help tone that down? That's what she's asking. Jennifer, thank you. It's nice to be here. You're saying, Ruth, you're saying you're tuned in and you're following. Sarah Tino says, tune in. How do I handle a scenario where teens find themselves having to grow up and handle situations that are way beyond their developmental age, maybe due to circumstances? Case in point, our education system. Some younger people are in older classes than their age. I think those are some questions we can get to. But before you answer that, Shalom, maybe let me come to David. So David, I think there's a reference there to the physical, the hormonal and all of that, what's going on. And it's said a lot by those who have studied this, that these hormonal changes and physical changes tend to cause confusion, sometimes aggression or withdrawal. These kids just staying by themselves and they don't want to get involved with people, irritability, restlessness. How do we handle that, especially in the boy child? The restlessness is very huge due to testosterone.
I think the first thing that we need to acknowledge is that these guys are in the crisis with us. They're not innocent bystanders watching themselves growing and acting out on their whims. And so some of the things that you see, and I have the opportunity to speak as a parent of a teenager and also a pastor to teenagers. For the longest time, I've been telling people from the window how to raise the children. Now I'm raising the children as I also tell them. So I have both experiences. And it can get quite tense, and especially for those of us who have been involved in youth ministry for a long time, the assumption is we know how to figure it out because we've been telling people how. And then, you get to that place and your teenager is acting up and you're like, this guy has been a nice kid all along. And we are, kununa ni anini, asira ni anini, kulala ni anini, because we don't see those things happen. Of course, you see the physical changes, the growth spurts and all that, voice change, but you're not seeing the emotional part. And so it's like it's the same treatment we give to people with mental issues. We assume because we don't see it, it's not there. And we have this assumption that they have to just slave it out. Don't show us your attitude, don't show us your tempers, don't show us your temperament, because this is when the temperament's actually kicking in. For a long time, as children, they have been behaving according to how you're telling them. Now they are beginning to show, they are basically settling in their character. And to do that without your interference, God gives them those hormones so that they can go crazy on you. So you can step back. And I think sometimes we don't appreciate God for what he does. But in his infinite wisdom, he created the teenage years so that the parents can be kicked back far enough for these children to become the men and the women they need to be. If they remained the soft kids they were, many of our children will be copy-paste their parents.
Yeah.
We will form them in our image and likeness. But God decided, we will create a bomb that will kick out all the parents. And for a little bit of time, these guys will be able to form into the people they need to be. And so those hormones are right and important, because the parent needs to step back. The society needs to step back. They need to begin to own, and that's why they get very aggressive about anything that comes to interfere with what they want to do, who they want to be.
Yeah.
And once they are past that period, they learn how to handle themselves and harness those strengths and reduce on the weaknesses. Then see, now this is a mature man. Why? Because they have learned to master their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. At teenage, when they lose a game, they cry. When they break a nail, they weep. When grown up, they will still feel the same pain, but they will have learned how to harness that emotion and deal with it in a healthier way, because now they know I can't just wail. What will we say? He is mature, she is mature. But for now, they have to kick back and find that expression. So those hormones and those emotions are necessary and important. Now we need to look out for the extremes. That's where now, the counseling support may be there. That is where being aware of where how things are affecting them, because sometimes some drastic things can happen to them: a loss of a loved one, separation in the family, failure in an exam, that can cause them to be adversely affected and deep to the point where they can't bounce back. Those are the parameters we need to look out for. And when we see that, then we need to jump in and ask for help or offer that help to them.
Excellent. Well said. Good points right there. And again, we're grateful that all of you are following. Shalom, there are two things that had been asked there that I think you're going to jump into. But just a statement I wanted to make there. In my experience, parenting is a journey of release right from day one. You keep releasing these kids. And preteen is when the release begins to kick in from their side. Before then, it's us releasing a little bit, but it's preteen, they begin to push back. And then during teenage, they push back even more. And during that time, it's really a healthy thing to release, but we need to help them deal with all of that, what's going on, as you said, David, by training them to manage their emotions, to manage their moods, not to behave in strange ways in spite of what they are feeling. The sexual urges are there, but this is how you manage them. So we're teaching them that. But Shalom, sexual urges and diet, and the other question that was asked by, was it Faith? Was Sarah? When they are ahead of their developmental age, what do you do?
Okay, so let me start with the one of the diet. Teenagers don't need to eat to increase their sexual urges. It's natural, right? You see, at that time, this whole thing about eating the food that is going to improve your sexual performance is a middle-aged thing. When people have probably played around sexually for so long that their libido is low, therefore they need some dietary thing to lift it up. Bad diet is going to reduce any performance, sexual, physical, and otherwise, right? So I think I would say it's not about food to get children. And this, I think in this case, the question is about teenage boys. It's not about the food. I'd say ensure they're having a diet that is as low in pornographic material as possible. Because the urge will come, but what they do with it, I think, is the problem. Yeah. So teach self-control, help them understand what's going on with their body. Sometimes you might think that they're playing around with their genitals, like boys. Let me talk about the boys in particular. If you think they're playing around with their genitals and you automatically look at it as a sexual activity without asking what's going on, you may not understand that they're probably itching for another reason. So everything that boys do is not necessarily sexual until we start putting in sexual ideas into their mind. So we put sexual ideas in by accusing them of things that they haven't done instead of seeking first to understand what's going on. Because a young boy who doesn't understand how erections happen will react a certain way to getting an erection, right? So the idea is to help him understand what's going on, the wet dreams and things like that, the shame around anything sexual, is to help them understand. So the second thing, so there's a part where we accuse them falsely, and then the other one is where we allow them to get exposed or not have that close relationship enough with them to understand that they're getting exposed to pornographic material. Now, when they get exposed to pornographic material, what I've heard from men who encountered pornography at an early age, there's the element, depending on how they're brought up, there's the element of feeling shame or some sort of guilt for seeing it, but then curiosity checks in. And the minute curiosity checks in and they're asking the right questions and they're asking probably their guy friends, a lot of what's going to happen is they'll want to experiment or dare each other or things like that. And probably guys would be better experts at saying this, but I'll speak as a mother of sons. It is when we got to the point of discussing these things with my boys that they got to be comfortable around their sexuality and comfortable around the things that were going on with their sexuality. And therefore, when they see a beautiful girl, I like saying that what you're doing is appreciating God's creation. So it's okay to have a crush, right? And when you have a crush, this is what happens mentally. This is what happens around your body. And this is most likely what's going to happen. You will get some sort of erection. And so, or you will want to do certain things. But where do you get the idea of what you want to do? It's because somebody has painted a picture of what you should do with your sexual urges. So to reduce the sexual urges in teen boys, reduce the content that they are receiving that is sexual in nature. It's not really about food, because food really, a lot of what we have is food that will improve your libido, food that will improve your sexual performance. But if you're overweight, you have diabetes and other things, then you still won't perform. And I don't think we want any of those on our teenage boys, right? But now when it comes to the
and maybe when
up,
as you go into that, there are those who say, and it's probably not directly linked to sexual urges. I think there are those who say they have too much energy, they're eating too much carbohydrates and sugar, and they're more likely to get into some naughty things because they have too much unused energy. But that's not really directly linked to the urges. I like, the way you're approaching it. It's more managing the urges. Of course, they need a good diet, not too much sugar and not too much of bad things. But the big thing is low diet in terms of exposure to sexual stimulating things, especially pornography, but also how to manage. I love just how you put that, but continue.
Yeah, you've actually brought up something interesting about the energy, the unused energy. Boys don't do well locked up, right? They need a lot of physical exertion, as much as possible. And I feel like if they're getting involved in something physical, like they have something physical they're doing throughout their day, it's actually going to remove them. And it's not just about the sexual thing. It's going to stop them from getting involved in other, should I call them vices? They will likely indulge less in drug use and abuse, use of alcohol, of course, exposure to stuff online. That will be reduced if they have something active that they're doing.
That's right.
And they're not being just left in a slump. So you brought something interesting about how do you use up that energy? So I think I've seen the question about growing up and being able to handle situations that are way beyond their developmental age. And case in point is like education system, where some younger people are in older classes than their age. One of the things I appreciate about what the government has done, they have started reducing the chances of your child advancing when they're not the right age. I think now there's a limit to which you need to let your child into a certain class. However, there's still loopholes, right? And many people assume that just because your child is sharp, you can skip them classes. And I know a lot of publicity around child geniuses has made us feel like that's a good thing to do. Now, I personally had an experience with that where I had a really sharp kid and we sped him up and took him 2 years. He actually ended up being 2 years ahead of his age.
Yeah.
Now, that's okay academically. You'll find that this child is likely to be okay at the academic level. But psychologically, they may end up, the minute other kids discover their age, they may end up being bullied because they're the baby in the class. And therefore, you'll find behavioral issues coming up because they're trying to adjust or trying to fight back the stuff that's coming their way. So as much as possible, let me say, if you're at the beginning of your child's educational journey, put them with their right age. There's a reason why those stages were developed and stated at that particular point. So the child can develop in a comfortable stage. Because back again to when we started this conversation, I think you talked about teenagers develop physically, socially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually, etc. They need to do all that together. Therefore, speeding them up in one and not the other shortchanges the child. So now what if your child, let's say if you're talking to a parent of a teen whose child is already ahead, and now taking them back becomes like negative, would end up being detrimental to their development. It's to help this child, number one, understand their specific situation and therefore affirm them. So that even if they're being called babies in school, affirm them for who they are. Then the other thing that also worked for me is outside of school, where they're ahead of their age, include them in places where there's people who are their age, their right age. So that they're not ahead of their age across the board. So have interactions at home, have social interactions at church and in other places where they are with their right peers. That way, they're not always going to be the youngest. Then there's a part of giving them responsibility over younger people. When they start appreciating the things that they know because of the stage they have reached, and they're passing that knowledge down to other people. This is that village of mine, you know, where the younger kid takes care of the children. When you give them something to be responsible for, then they appreciate what they have learned at the stage they are at. So it's really to manage the emotions and psychology around that, around those circumstances that they're at.
Excellent. Thank you very much for handling that. And I know, David, you're going to be adding a few things there. Jennifer is saying, so the hormones and rebellion is good for the maturing process and to keep parents in check. This is a bad moment for me. I surrender, Lord. Trufosa, good to hear from you there. What's the role of the parent in that hormonal phase? And I think what we are saying is help them understand what's going on. Sometimes they don't understand what's going on and understand the impact and effect of the hormones, but also help them understand how to handle that. And I think, this is where morality and spirituality comes in. During that time, these young ones have been living on the morals of their parents. What their parents said is right was right. But now they're discovering what is right for themselves and forming their own opinions. They don't just want to know it's wrong because you said so. I want to believe for myself it's wrong. So that's where the moral rebellion comes in, and them experimenting certain things. How do you help them from a spiritual and moral point of view to build the stability that they need to grow in this tumultuous stage?
Thank you. I think, as you've said, one is to understand what is going on with them. Two is to look at them as a 360 degree. Unfortunately, many times we focus a lot on the education. We want to just see them advance. No wonder we take them classes ahead or classes behind, depending on their abilities. And we're not understanding what are they going through emotionally. Can they be in the same class as people 2 years older than them? Even if as bright as people 2 years ahead of them. Then also looking at their moral development. What are they consuming? What are we exposing them to? And as I said at the beginning, the biggest buffer to the onslaught that we can't stop is actually the security, the safety, the values that the family establishes for the children. Whether it be in a single parent home or both parents available or an orphan, the principle remains the same. There are adults who they are looking up to around them. What kind of values are they presenting to them? It doesn't matter how many times you talk to them if you don't live out those values. And unfortunately, that's the thing that is killing this generation. We have parents who are behaving like teenagers. I want to party the whole night. I want to have my girlfriend. I want to go. I want to talk dirty. And right now in the political season, we sound more worse than the children. We are ready to, we were chasing them down not to ban schools, but we are ready to burn down this country if we don't get our way in one thing or another. And so we need to be able to realize that our modeling is so critical to these guys at this point. And so their moral, physical, spiritual, intellectual development have to be at par. And unfortunately, sometimes we do this when somebody is getting married, then we tell them, you need to check on the spiritual development of this person. Are they they have the same moral convictions as you? What is their socialization like? Are you mentally compatible? We ask those questions, but when they are going through their teens, we just focus on education. And I like what Shalom says, you know what? Put them in that village. I'm one of those guys who grew up with people older than me. One, I'm a lastborn, so everyone in the house is older than me. Two, my parents took me to school, and it wasn't a big gap. I was just a year ahead of my class or my age group. So I was always the lastborn in every class I walked into. In church, I interacted with guys older than me. And it just happened. In fact, sometimes I would go for, we are doing ministry, and somebody asked me how old. There's actually a person who thought I was working. And they refused to believe I was in high school. And I tried to convince them, and they couldn't, because being amongst older people matured me, right? And I was able to handle it. I was able to, and it carried on. I got married younger than most of my peers, got into ministry earlier than many of my peers, settled down into many ways, many things in my life, much earlier than other people. And so I know there is a range within which you can say, okay, if you're 5 years ahead of yourself, that's crazy. If you're 5 years behind, that's also crazy. It's an anomaly. But that range between there, you can always give and take. So let's watch out for the 360 degree development of these young people and help them where they need help. Talk to them, listen to them. I love what Shalom does, being honest and open to speak into some of those things. I don't know if I've been as bold as she has been. I need some lessons. And just, guys, let's talk about what's happening down there. And I'm like, Pastor wako atakuona kando. I'm that pastor, I think I love the fact, and I let me say this, I've come to the admission that there are things I can't do for myself. As a doctor, I cannot treat myself. And just trusting that there is somebody else. I remember seeing one of the members of church speaking to my son, and I was so curious because I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've been the one who does that, and a parent is looking and like, my son can actually talk to somebody. And now I'm sitting there like, why am I not the one talking to my son? I should be the professional. But I realized that he can't say to me the experiences he can't share with me that he can share with Simon, he can share with Shalom. And for me to appreciate those guys, that village, and say, I need my teenager to have a youth pastor, just like I became a youth pastor to another teenager.
Yeah.
Like a doctor needs another doctor to treat his child. And it's somebody else.
The need for mentors and other people, the aunties and uncles that used to be there who can talk to our children during the season, and reporters sometimes say, Mom is just being very mean, or Dad is just being unreasonable. And sometimes you realize you're actually being unreasonable once the uncle talks to you. So that's crucial. I like what you're saying. And of course, taking them to church. I think I've just found many times we take it light, especially after COVID, that we don't insist that our children get involved in spiritual development, but it's very crucial. During this season is when they're asking the eternal questions, and those crucial questions of why am I here? Where am I going? Does life make sense? And they need the spiritual. Even if you're out of it, make sure your children are involved in some spiritual program so they may grow into it, and then keep teaching them the values as you're saying, forming the convictions in them, and them understanding why some things are right and why some things are wrong, because they affect others and affect themselves. Well, I know time has really gone. We could talk forever, but let me just say to all of you out there, we actually have programs on parenting where we delve a little bit deeper into all of these areas in systematic manner. And so there's intentional moms, there's intentional dads. And this month we are celebrating fathers because Father's Day is going to be in about 2 weeks. And we're going to have a seminar around it. And I know the details are on our page. So please join in. It's going to be free of charge. You can join in as fathers, and the other programs that we are doing, the Man Enough, the EZA, you're all welcome so that we can help you to grow in these things. But we'll continue the conversations next week around family life, and please be checking on our page just to see the announcements. But as we close, Shalom, just some last words of advice to the parents who are raising teenagers who have been following very well. Jennifer here is asking about dating, and that's the crush and dating, and some girls being too aggressive, just getting coming for your son, even when your son is very cool and not going out, he is hunted. The times some parents have had to tell girls, no, leave my son alone.
Eddie Long had a sermon that he called "When the hunter becomes the hunted."
Yeah.
We'll have that conversation another day.
Thank you, Marian. You're saying you're learning so much. Parents to a teen turning 16 over the weekend. Oh, congratulations, and sweet 16. That's a wonderful age. But last words, Shalom, as you address that, and then David, and we will close it there.
Yeah, I think, like you said, talking about dating and romantic relationships between teens is another whole session. That one, I think you even need to run it, and we invite teens to have the conversation, because it really helps to hear from them directly. So yeah, the dating one, I don't even think I can try and answer that now. There's no specific age by which they should start dating. So I think to close, I'm going to borrow from one of the questions I saw that had to do with how to introduce your son to his father, because I feel like one of the biggest things happening in the area of parenting teens today is the fact that we have a lot more broken homes, or single parent homes, or solo parenting homes where parents are together but apart, as in the family unit has basically become something different from what we traditionally knew. So when introducing a boy to his father, one of the things that needs to happen is you need to ease them in. And ease them in, I'll just say this very quickly, ease them in, speak to them about it before the situation, before they actually meet the dad, and then do not speak ill of the father. Yes, I understand. Here we have two dads, me, one mom. But one of the things that I know has happened because of the pain that dads have caused moms, and I'm generalizing, so let's not go into not everyone is like that. I'm generalizing, but because majority of the cases is where the dads have caused the mom pain, when introducing your son to the father, do not speak ill of the dad. Let them form that relationship on their own. I have found that really helps. And also don't try and correct what the dad did through the boy, because then you're giving him a role that is not his. Let the father one day apologize for the mistakes he made. Let the boy form a new relationship with the father. And so manage expectations in case, like let's say they plan a meeting and then it doesn't happen. manage such expectations, and sometimes have a backup plan. So you're not taking the child back home because the father has bounced him, you know? You're giving them another outing or exposing them to something different, like ease them in, ease them out, and help cushion the experience that they may have. And probably another thing about spirituality, again, I know it's closing, but I decided just to borrow from what we have picked. When it comes to spirituality, understand that the teenager is asking, is your God worth being my God?
Yeah.
When they're young, they believe in the parents' God, right? But when they become teenagers, they're asking, is your God worth being my God? And so at this point, you will have to model spirituality rather than tell them what they need to be. And then as much as possible, again, because this journey of parenting teenagers is crazy difficult, always point them back to God when you don't have answers. And even when you have answers, do not be God. Point them to God. Tell them, go and seek these answers from God. And then support them through the process, so that you're also not replacing God as far as their spiritual development is concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, well put. As a friend of mine who keeps reminding me, there is only one God, and his name is not Simon. You know, he keeps reminding me not to play God. So don't play God. Remember that your children are beginning to buy into either your God or your values. So they need to learn that for themselves, model it, and show them why you believe in what you believe in and how practical it is. David, maybe some last words. And again, we're sorry many of you are asking a lot of questions that we may not be able to get to. But actually, I think we're going to have, after the Father's Day thing, we're going to get back and talk about this sexuality and issues around pornography. So keep your eyes on this space. David.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to appreciate every parent who's doing the best they can under the circumstances, and just encourage you that you, as Scripture says, you've never been this way before. And so there's no expert. By the time you're an expert, your children have left home. And so we, John Hagee used to say, when I was growing up, I had 6 principles of raising children and no children. Now I have 6 children and no principles. Because all the principles got knocked down almost immediately. And so even with the best of our desire to raise our children in a godly way, to give them the best opportunities, we are learning. Every child is a skill. Every child. I look at my 3 kids and I'm like, there is nothing about raising children that is general about each of them. You move this stick from this one to this one and it works the same way. If you slap this one and slap this other one, they all take it differently. If you give a gift to this one, give a gift to this other one, and give a gift to the third one, they all perceive it differently. The clearest one is when we say we go out. There's one who will go out. There's one who will tell you, tell me first, a day before. And there's one who is in the car waiting. They're ready to go. So we need to understand that every child is a gift from God, is special in God's eyes, and we need to take the full course of understanding who they are, and humbly know that God is the one who is raising them. As Pastor said, there's only one God, and he's not David. So let's trust God to help us raise these children in a way that is godly, in a way that is a blessing to them and a blessing to the next generation. Asante sana.
So excellent.
Is it okay for me to say there is no God and her name is not Shalom? There is one God and her name is not Shalom.
That's right. That's okay. Wow, what an encouraging conversation. I wish we had several hours. I just want to remind everyone what the Bible says. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. That means our role is to train them to obey. And you need to start that before teenage, because that teenage is when that is tested. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with the promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. When I talk to teenagers, I tell them, honoring your parents and authority gives you an opportunity to learn and grow from them. So teach and train them these things. But verse 4 is what I wanted to emphasize. Fathers or parents, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instructions of the Lord. I think at the end of the day, these are the three things I keep doing as I bring up my teens now and one young adult. I pray for them. There's just so much I can do, but God is able to reach to them in ways I can never, in their sleep or in their private moments. So I pray for each one of them. Number two, I train them. I talk to them. I read for them God's word. I tell them stories. I watch movies with them and we learn lessons. Train them. And lastly, let others in. Shalom's thing. Bring in the village and let the village interact with your children as well. May the Lord bless you as you do what you're doing. Remember, Shalom has a book on raising teens, and it's available with us. In case you'd like a copy, let us know. What's the title again?
It's called Eggs, Hammers, and Chili Peppers.
All right. Yeah, very interesting. That's teenage kind of book for sure. You can get that and the other materials that are available. David, I think your book is still in press. It's yet to be, it's still in the kitchen cooking. But we are happy to be of help to you. And in case you want to contact us, feel free to do that on our social media pages. May God bless you. We keep it here. We continue with conversations around parenting for the rest of the month. Let me say a prayer for us as we go. Lord, we just want to pray for those who are really in difficult situations with their children, or just lost, or wondering what to do with the kids. They have talked to them, but they're still going off. We just pray for your intervention, and those who are also dealing with breaking families. We pray for your intervention and your help with the children and with the parents and with all of us in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Have a good night. Sorry again, we went late because we started late, but next week, 8:15. Good night.